The first half wraps up with the RWL Undisputed World Tag Team Championships being defended, with the United Kingdom's Ballarat Jack Jones and Niles Rickheiser challenging the originals, John Van and Guy Cormier, for the titles. And Sylvia Strong just walked in here during the break and just snatched up Gianni Bianco, who she's bringing along to ringside for extra good luck, I guess.
Is she gonna make that a regular thing?
It's already happened once, where GB has stood ringside with Sylvia during a match with Gary Galaxy on Rage a couple of weeks back. But I guess Sylvia felt she really wanted or needed Gianni at ringside. Or the originals themselves may have invited him. But whatever the reason, GB sure doesn't mind standing ringside with Sylvia Strong.
You gotta admit, they make a cute couple. That aside, Ballarat Jack and Niles Rickheiser, accompanied by Grace Fenwick, the United Kingdoms, with an opportunity to become the undisputed World Tag Team Champions right here. All they gotta do is go through the originals, and that's not hard, is it?
Your chances of being struck by lightning and winning the lottery on the same day are infinitely better. 5+ years, those undisputed World Tag titles haven't moved, not even for a couple of weeks. It's a fact that John, Guy, and Sylvia all take great pride in. The United Kingdoms do have a chance, but it's almost literally 1 in 1,000. John Van and Guy Cormier have never blinked or flinched during a title match.
The UK's definitely got a chance. These ain't no little cruiserweights.
Ballarat Jack and Niles Rickheiser have never held tag team gold here in RWL, and that makes them hungry, and that means they're gonna be driven to win. Now, all we're waiting for is Sylvia, Gianni Bianco, and the Undisputed World Tag Team Champions.
The party's about to start, and it's always a party. When John Van and Guy Cormier roll into town, the originals, the Undisputed World Tag Team Champions, along with Sylvia Strong and Gianni Bianco. She really calls them cakes, huh?
You heard her, Danny. Come on, Cakes. Come see the title match up close, she said. They seem like such an unlikely pair, but they're just wild about each other. It's been the damnedest thing.
Hey, as long as they're happy. Anyway, John Van, Guy Cormier, the originals, the RWL Undisputed World Tag Team Champions. We saw them a couple of weeks ago, but they're back this week to defend the titles against the United Kingdoms. And it's not going to be an easy match, no matter what you think.
No, it probably won't be an easy match, as title matches never are. All right, so these opponents have never been champions before. Their win-loss record is good, but not great. Plus, it's just natural to favor the champs retaining the titles. And why shouldn't the originals win? After all, they've got Gianni.
That's pretty good, Wally. That right there is the cause of all the trouble, the Undisputed World Tag Team Championships.
This next contest, set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit, is for the WL Undisputed World Tag Team Championships. The challengers, accompanied by Grace Fenwick, at a combined weight of 510 pounds, Niles Rickheiser and Ballarat Jack Jones, the United Kingdoms. Accompanied by Sylvia Strong and Gianni Bianco, at a combined weight of 520 pounds, the WL Undisputed World Tag Team Champions, John Van and Guy Cormier, the originals.
You know, guys, it's a true story and a funny thing. I missed managing the originals in 2012 by 48 hours, just 2 days. Sylvia Strong got there before me. In hindsight, it's probably a good thing. If I was managing them, they'd probably be living under an overpass now. Okay, it's going to be Ballarat Jack and John Van starting us off. Ballarat Jack and the Chicago Hammer. The title's on the line. So it's serious. Referee Charles Lacera rings the bell. Running kick from Ballarat Jack takes John Van down. Jack keeps him down with a leg snap. Ballarat Jack tags in. Niles Rickheiser. A kick from Niles, a punch. Couple of knees to the midsection. The Chicago Hammer goes down. Rickheiser covers. 1. 2. Oh, almost a 2. Nope, ref says it's a 2. Okay. Now it's Wickerser with kicks to the head. The Chicago Hammer, John Van. Van. Whip to the opposing team's corner. Now Wickerser comes off the middle rope. A kick to the side of the head of John Van. And here comes Ballarat Jack. John Van getting back up to his feet. Locked up by Ballarat Jack. Returned to the UK's corner. Leg break over the rope and a kick to the calf to John Van from Ballarat Jack Jones. Here's a tag. All of a sudden, quick double team punch. John Van taking quite a bit of punishment from both these guys. John escorted to the ropes by Wickerser, hung up off the top rope. Grace Fenwick, a little sadist, standing at ringside, probably enjoying it all. John Van whipped to the ropes. Wickerser ducks under. John Van puts on the brakes, delivers a shot to the midsection himself. Rounds up Niles, drives his back into the turnbuckle and tosses him out towards center ring. John Van covers. 1, 2. Just the 2. Nope. Just the 1. Okay. Hey, this referee's sharp. John Van rounds up. Now it's Wickerser. Has him up. Sidewalk slam from the Chicago Hammer. John gonna take himself to the outside. Making a beeline for Niles. There's a chop. John Van with a short arm clothesline. Takes Wickerser down on the outside. The referee's counting. Discus punch from the Chicago Hammer. And John Van, taking care of business all by himself, has yet to tag in his partner. Catches the ring steps. Courtesy of Niles Wickerser. Grace Fenwick should be disqualified for that. You saw that. She stomped him. Niles Wickerser moves in on Guy Cormier. And he's going to catch him. With 10 shot punches, the referee caught it. Grace Fenwick has been thrown out. Oh, told you, this referee ain't fooling around. The count continues. Ballarat Jack and John Van on the outside. Ballarat Jack just caught a jawbreaker from John. Now the Chicago Hammer working on the head and neck of Niles Wickerser. Niles backs him off with a punch. Rolls him back inside the ring. Ballarat Jack is still laid out. Niles Wickerser rolls himself back inside the ring. John Van counters him with a hip toss. Goes for a cover. 1, 2. But only just a 2. John Van goes back to work here. Rounds up Niles. Another discus punch. Takes him back down to the mat. The Chicago Hammer, John Van. Drag him center ring. Oh, look at this. Here we go. There's the claw. Possible submission right here. Ballarat Jack making a beeline to break it up. But look at this. Niles Wickerser breaking out of it on his own. Pretty impressive. Running kick takes down John Van. Niles covers again. 1. But no. Chicago Hammer powers out. Johnny Bianco standing over there ringside. He must be having a great time. Niles Wickerser with a kick to the ribs of John Van and another. He might want to think about tagging in Guy Cormier at this point. He's been in there for a while. Niles Wickerser rolls John Van over, covers again. Guy Cormier right there to break it up on the count of 1. John rounded back up. Niles whips him to the corner. Here comes Ballarat Jack. Another tag punch from the United Kingdoms. Up over their shoulders. John Van finds his way out of that situation. The Chicago Hammer with a snap suplex on Ballarat Jack. The angry Aussie gets rounded up, a jawbreaker. Ballarat Jack comes in for a reset. John Van counters with elbows. Backs off Ballarat Jack. Lines up the arm. Whoa! Now that's a hell of a way to snap the arm. Wow. John Van. With an aggressive move on the arm right there. Here's a cover. 1, 2. Another near fall. Ballarat Jack gets the shoulder up in time. Look at this. John Van. Telling everybody, watch this. And he is just kicking the living crap out of Ballarat Jack. John Van covers again. 1. But Niles Wickers are right there to break it up. John Van still hasn't tagged in Guy Cormier. We're almost 7 minutes into this match. Ballarat Jack whipped to the rope. Here it is. The Staten Island crippler Guy Cormier finally gets to go to work here. Him and John Van just pummeling Ballarat Jack Jones. A running knee from Guy Cormier. Guy turns him over, covers. 1, 2, 3. And how about that? All Guy Cormier had to do was come in and make the pin. The Originals retain the titles.
The time, 6 minutes and 28 seconds. Your winners by pinfall. And still undisputed World Tag Team Champions, the Originals.
Well, it turns out that Johnny Bianco's actually a pretty good luck charm. The Originals retaining the undisputed World Tag Team Championships. And that takes care of the first half of tonight's RWL Snarl. We'll be back with the second half right after this.